In the quiet expanse of space, the stars whispered secrets of dread and defiance. The year was 2256, and humanity had long since spread its wings across the cosmos, forming bonds with alien races in a fragile union known as the Galactic Coalition. But this night, the silence of space was shattered by an ominous broadcast from the heart of the Galactic Empire, a ruthless dominion whose shadow had darkened many worlds. Commander Alex Mercer stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, his ship a testament to human innovation, orbiting the serene planet of Valara. His eyes, hardened by years of conflict, were fixed on the holographic display showing the Emperor's face, twisted with malevolent glee. For too long, the Emperor's voice boomed, we have allowed the lesser species to dream of equality. But now, with the Annihilator, their dreams will turn to ash. Submit, or watch your galaxies burn. The threat was not empty. The Annihilator was rumored to be a weapon of unimaginable power, capable of erasing entire star systems from existence. The Empire had long been a force of tyranny, but this was unprecedented. Alex felt the weight of eyes upon him, his crew looking for guidance. His reputation as a strategist was well earned, but this was beyond strategy. It was survival. His mind raced, recalling the tales of old Earth's resilience, the spirit that had carried humanity from its cradle to the stars. He turned to his tactical officer, Lieutenant Kale, a member of the Lyrian race, known for their strategic acumen. Kale's scales shimmered with tension, his eyes reflecting the same resolve Alex felt. Prepare the fleet for immediate mobilization. We strike at dawn, Alex ordered, his voice steady, betraying none of his inner turmoil. As the Indomitable hummed with activity, Alex retreated to his quarters, where the walls were lined with artifacts from Earth's history, reminders of human endurance. There he found Dr. Alara Vega, her face illuminated by the glow of data screens, her fingers dancing across the interfaces. Alara, what can you tell me about this Annihilator? Alex asked, his voice low, almost a whisper. Alara looked up, her eyes shadowed by concern. It's not just a weapon, Alex. It's an existential threat. From the energy signatures we've detected, it could potentially destabilize the fabric of space-time itself. But there's something else. Her voice trailed off, hinting at mysteries yet uncovered. Alex leaned in, his interest piqued. What? There are anomalies in the data, patterns that suggest the Empire might not fully understand or control what they've unleashed. There could be a way to turn this against them, Alara said, her words sparking a glimmer of hope amidst the looming darkness. The night was silent, but in the vastness of space, plans were being woven, alliances tested, and the first threads of rebellion were spun. Alex knew the coming battle would not just be for survival, but for the very soul of the cosmos. As he looked out into the void, he felt the weight of history, of every human who had fought for a future, now resting on his shoulders. The Empire had chosen violence, but they had underestimated humanity's will to fight back. The war was inevitable, the stakes higher than any conflict before, and in this shadow of doom, a tale of defiance was about to unfold. The stars were barely visible through the thick clouds of dust that trailed behind the Indomitable as it hurtled towards the edge of known space. Commander Alex Mercer stood at the helm, his eyes scanning the tactical display where blips of Empire ships were beginning to converge. The tension in the air was palpable, like the calm before a storm. We need to get that intel, Alex, said Dr. Alara Vega, her voice cutting through the silence. She was standing beside him, her posture tense, her gaze focused on the data streaming from her tablet. If there's a way to exploit the Annihilator's flaws, we need to know now. I know, Alara, but this mission is suicide unless we can secure a path, Alex replied, his eyes meeting hers, a silent acknowledgement of the risks they were about to take. Lieutenant Kale approached, his scales reflecting the dim light of the command center. I've calculated a route through the asteroid belt of the Zeti system. It's risky, but it might just give us the cover we need to reach the Empire's outpost undetected. Risky is an understatement, Alex muttered, but he nodded. Prepare the stealth systems. We move out in 10. As the Indomitable weaved through the asteroid field, each maneuver was a dance with death. The rocks like ancient guardians of secrets, their paths unpredictable. Inside, the crew was a symphony of precision. Pilots, engineers, and scientists worked in unison, each knowing their role in this high-stakes ballet. The outpost came into view, a dark, imposing structure against the backdrop of stars. Alex led a small team, including Alara and Kale, into stealth pods, launching them toward the facility. "Remember, we're ghosts here," Alex whispered over the comms as they approached. Inside the outpost, the corridors were eerily quiet, the air thick with the scent of recycled oxygen and fear. Alara hacked into the system, her fingers flying over the console. "I've got access to their mainframe. Downloading now." But their presence didn't go unnoticed for long. Alarms blared, red lights swirling as Empire guards rushed towards them. A firefight ensued, the clash of energy weapons echoing in the metal halls. "You should have brought more soldiers," a guard taunted, his voice distorted through his helmet. "Or maybe we should have brought less," Kale retorted, his weapon singing through the air, felling the guard with precision. As they fought their way back, Alex noticed something, a room with heavy security, just off their escape route. "Hold this position," he ordered Kale, dashing towards the door. Inside, he found a holographic display showing plans not just for the Annihilator, but for something more. A network of these weapons, intended to control or destroy entire sectors of the galaxy. His heart sank. This was bigger than they thought. "Alex, we need to move, now." Alara's voice crackled through his earpiece. He grabbed what data he could, his mind racing with the implications. They escaped just as reinforcements arrived, the pods barely making it back to the Indomitable under a hail of fire. Back on the ship, as they sped away from the outpost, Alara was already analyzing the new data. "There's more here than just the Annihilator. They're planning a network of these devices. It's not just about control, it's about absolute domination." Kale looked at Alex, his expression grim. "We've walked into something much larger than we anticipated. We need to get this to the Coalition, rally every species willing to fight." Alex nodded, his resolve hardening. "We'll need more than just fighters. We need a miracle." The Indomitable vanished into the dark of space, leaving behind the echoes of their daring raid, carrying with it the seeds of hope, or perhaps the seeds of their doom. The game had changed, and the storm was gathering not just over one planet, but over the very fabric of the galaxy. The Indomitable cut through the void, its engines humming with the urgency of their mission. Earth's blue jewel was now in sight, a beacon of hope in the dark expanse. It was early morning, the sun's first rays touching the horizon, mirroring the dawn of a new chapter in the fight for survival. Commander Alex Mercer, his face etched with the weight of what he had seen at the Empire's outpost, led his team through the bustling corridors of Earth's command center. Here, the best of human and alien minds converged, a melting pot of technology and strategy. "We've got the data, but it's not just about stopping one weapon anymore," Alex announced to the gathered assembly, including Earth's military leaders and scientists. Dr. Alara Vega, her eyes darting between screens, added, "The Empire plans to deploy a network of annihilators. It's a doomsday scenario." General Hayes, a veteran with a scar that told tales of past battles, leaned forward. "Then we hit them where it hurts. We need to destroy that network before it's fully operational." Lieutenant Kale interjected. "There's more. Our escape was too easy. I believe we were allowed to see this. Someone in the Empire might be playing their own game." The room fell silent, the implication clear. Internal dissent or a trap? Alara broke the silence. "I've found something in the data, a signature, a frequency anomaly that could be exploited. But we need to act fast." The plan was set. They would develop a countermeasure, a virus to disable the annihilators. Humanity's forge was about to burn brighter than ever, with every species in the Coalition contributing their unique strengths. In the deep bowels of Earth's most advanced labs, the work began. Alara, with her genius, was at the heart of it, her hands moving like those of a maestro. "If we can resonate this frequency with the Annihilator's core, we might destabilize it from within," she explained to Alex, who watched, fascinated by her dedication. Meanwhile, Alex was summoned for a private meeting. An old contact, Major Lix from the secretive Earth intelligence, awaited. Alex, there's something you should know. We've intercepted communications. There's a faction within the Empire, calling themselves the Liberators, who oppose the Emperor's plans. They're our mole. Why help us? Alex asked, skepticism in his tone. They believe in the old ways, before the Empire's corruption. They want to stop this madness, but they can't do it alone, Lix explained, handing over a data chip. This will get you past the Empire's defenses for one shot. Use it wisely. Back in the lab, a twist emerged. The virus they developed was not only capable of disabling the Annihilators, but also had the potential to cause a chain reaction, possibly leading to the destruction of entire sectors if not precisely calibrated. We're playing with fire here, Alara murmured, her brow furrowed. We don't have a choice, Alex responded, the weight of his decision heavy. The day was filled with action, simulations ran, adjustments were made, and the tension was palpable. A small team, including Alex, Alara, and Kale, would carry this virus to the heart of the Empire's new weapon, now under construction in the Orbis system. As they prepared to leave, disaster struck. An explosion rocked the command center, a sabotage, the room filled with smoke, chaos erupting. Get to the ships now, Alex shouted, his voice cutting through the confusion. They dashed through the wreckage, the sound of sirens and cries echoing behind them. Reaching the Indomitable, Alex looked back at Earth, now marred by this act of war. They know we're close, he said to Kale, who was already plotting their escape route. Alara, clutching the device with their only hope, added, We've got to move. Every second counts. The ship lifted off, leaving Earth with its future hanging in balance as they ventured into the unknown to stop a network of destruction, or perhaps, unwittingly, to ignite it. The forge of humanity had indeed set ablaze, but whether it would temper them into saviors or lead to their downfall remained to be seen. The Indomitable sliced through the cosmic tapestry, its hull gleaming under the harsh light of Orbis System's sun. The team was on edge, the weight of their mission pressing down like the vacuum of space itself. Commander Alex Mercer paced the bridge, his mind a whirlwind of strategy and doubt. We're approaching the construction site, announced Lieutenant Kale, his eyes glued to the tactical display. Empire patrols are all over the place. This won't be easy. Alex nodded, his gaze piercing the void. We have one chance. Make it count. Dr. Alara Vega, her expression focused, checked the device one last time. The virus is ready, but remember, if we miscalculate, we might trigger the very catastrophe we're trying to prevent. The ship maneuvered into position, cloaking technology humming to life. They were to infiltrate a massive shipyard where the Annihilators were being assembled, a place teeming with activity and danger. As they neared, an unexpected hail came through. Commander Mercer, this is Commander Vara of the Liberators. We've cleared a path for you. Use it now. Alex's heart skipped. Vara? How do I know this isn't a trap? You don't, but do you have another choice? Vara's voice was calm, almost amused. Trust was a luxury they couldn't afford, but time was even scarcer. Prepare for insertion, Alex ordered, his voice betraying none of his inner conflict. The Indomitable slipped through the corridor of reduced patrols, the silence of the void filled with the tension of their descent. They docked at a less guarded section, the team disembarking in stealth suits, weapons at the ready. Inside the shipyard, the scale of the Empire's ambition was laid bare. Annihilators, like dark gods, were in various stages of assembly, their energy cores pulsing with malevolent light. We need to plant the virus in the central control hub, Alara whispered, her voice almost lost in the hum of machinery. It's the only way to ensure all units are affected. Navigating through the maze of the shipyard, they encountered the first signs of resistance. Empire guards, alerted by the breach, began to converge. A firefight erupted, the noise echoing off the metal walls. Kale took point, his movements fluid, a dance of death. Move now, he urged, covering their retreat. They reached the control hub, a fortress within the shipyard. Alara interfaced with the system, her fingers flying over the controls. Almost there, just need another minute. But time was a luxury they did not have. Alarms blared, more guards flooding in. Alex took a defensive position, his shots precise, buying Alara the seconds she needed. "Done!" Alara shouted over the cacophony of battle. Virus uploaded. The team made a hasty retreat, the shipyard now in chaos behind them. As they raced back to the Indomitable, an unexpected explosion rocked the facility. Not from their virus, but from within. The Liberators had struck, aiming to sow confusion. Back aboard, they watched as several annihilators seemed to malfunction, their energy signatures going haywire. But one, the largest, began to glow brighter, not dimmer. "What's happening?" Alex asked, his voice tense. Alara's face paled. The virus might have caused an overload in that one. If it goes critical, they couldn't wait to find out. The Indomitable powered up, pushing its engines to the limit, fleeing as the Annihilator began to destabilize. Behind them, the shipyard was engulfed in a massive explosion, a spectacle of light and destruction. The virus had worked, perhaps too well. The Empire's weapon was gone, but at what cost? As they jumped to safety, leaving the chaos behind, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Their victory, if it could be called that, had come at the price of revealing their hand. The Empire would not let this stand. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. The Indomitable drifted through the aftermath of the explosion, its crew silent, reflecting on the chaos they had left behind. The Orbis system was now a testament to their desperate act, stars dimmed by the debris of the Empire's ambition. Commander Alex Mercer sat in his quarters, the victory hollow. He knew this was but a skirmish in a larger war. Dr. Ilara Vega entered, her face a mixture of relief and concern. "We've bought some time, but at what cost?" Ilara asked, her voice soft. "The cost of showing our hand," Alex replied, his eyes distant. "They'll double down now." Lieutenant Kale, entering the room, added, "We've received a transmission. It's from Vara again. She wants to meet, says it's urgent." The meeting was set at a neutral point, a small, forgotten moon on the edge of the system. Alex, Ilara, and Kale descended in a shuttle, the tension palpable. Trusting an Empire defector was like handling a live wire in space. Vara awaited them, her ship hidden among the craters. She was tall, her features sharp, an embodiment of the Empire's elegance, but with eyes that spoke of rebellion. "You've made an impression, Commander Mercer. The Emperor is furious, more than you can imagine." "Why help us?" Alex asked, his hand never far from his weapon. "Because I want the Empire to fall, not just for humanity's sake, but for all species it has enslaved. Your virus, it exposed a flaw in their control over the Annihilators. There's a chance to end this for good." Ilara interjected, "We saw one Annihilator destabilize. Was that your doing?" Vara nodded. "A calculated risk. It proved my point. The Emperor's control isn't absolute, but now he's accelerating his plans. There's another facility, hidden, where they're developing something even more terrifying." "The ultimate weapon?" Kale speculated, his tone skeptical. "More like the ultimate control," Vara corrected. "A device to bend the will of entire species. We need to stop it before it's complete. I can get you in, but you need to act fast." The intrigue deepened. The stakes were higher than just physical destruction. Alex felt the burden of command, the weight of possibly deciding the fate of sentient life across the galaxy. "We'll need more than just the three of us," Alex decided. "Vara, can you rally your Liberators for this?" "I can, but trust will be hard-earned. They're wary of outsiders." "We'll earn it," Alex said, a steely resolve in his voice. Back on the Indomitable, the plan was set. They would infiltrate the secret facility with Vara's help, aiming to destroy or capture this mind control device. But the operation required more than stealth. It needed a diversion, a show of force to draw attention away from their true objective. Ilara worked on a new tech solution, a way to disrupt the device's signals. "If we can cause interference, it might give us the edge we need," she explained, her genius at work. Kale, meanwhile, coordinated with the Coalition's scattered forces, preparing a fleet to strike at visible Empire targets, creating the necessary distraction. As they approached the coordinates Vara provided, the tension was like a living thing aboard the ship. The facility was on a planet shrouded in darkness, its location a secret even among the Empire's ranks. "We're walking into the heart of the Empire," Alex said, rallying his team. "But we're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for freedom, for every species out there." The shuttle descended into the unknown, the darkness of the planet mirroring the uncertainty of their mission. But in that darkness, the seeds of rebellion grew stronger. The story of humanity, of courage and defiance, was about to unfold in the most unexpected of places. The darkness of the planet was not just literal, it was an embodiment of the Empire's hidden intentions. The Indomitable hovered above, its presence cloaked, as the shuttle carrying Alex, Alara, Kale, and Vara descended towards the heart of the enemy. The facility was a fortress, its walls lined with sensors and defenses. "We won't get far without being detected," Vara warned, her voice low. "We'll make our own path then," Alex decided, his eyes scanning the layout. "Kale, you're with me. We'll cause a distraction. Alara, Vara, you head for the control center." Kale nodded, his scales shimmering with anticipation. "I've always wanted to see an Empire fortress burn." As they split, the air crackled with the promise of battle. Alex and Kale found an outer defense generator, planting explosives. "On my mark," Alex whispered. The countdown began, and with a silent prayer, they ignited the blast. The explosion was a beacon, drawing guards like moths to a flame. Chaos erupted, alarms blaring, as Alex and Kale engaged in a fierce skirmish, their weapons singing through the air. Each move was calculated, every shot a step towards their goal. Meanwhile, Alara and Vara navigated the labyrinthine corridors, their stealth tech barely keeping them hidden. "This way," Vara whispered, leading Alara towards the core of the facility where the mind control device was housed. The control room was guarded by elite units, but the distraction provided by Alex and Kale had thinned their numbers. Vara, with a deft hand, jammed the door mechanism, giving them a precious moment. "Quickly, before they regroup," she urged. Alara connected her device to the system, her fingers flying over the console. "I'm in. I can start the interference now, but we need to disable the mainframe manually to be sure." Suddenly, the door burst open, Empire soldiers flooding in. Vara fought with the ferocity of one betrayed by her own, while Alara focused on her task, the room echoing with the sounds of battle. Back outside, Alex and Kale were cornered, their ammo running low. "We need to move now," Alex shouted, leading a desperate charge towards the control room, using the confusion to their advantage. In the control room, Alara completed her task just as the soldiers overwhelmed Vara. With a cry, Alara switched to combat mode, her device now a weapon. She managed to repel the immediate threat, but the room was filling with more enemies. Then, like a storm breaking through the clouds, Alex and Kale burst in, their arrival a whirlwind of action. "We've got to go," Alex yelled, pulling Alara away from the console. Together, they fought their way out, the facility now a battleground. Explosions rocked the structure as the diversion fleet began their attack, the sky lighting up with the fury of war. As they reached the shuttle, Vara, wounded, gave Alex a data chip. This has everything. Use it wisely," she gasped, her strength fading. With the facility in ruins behind them, the shuttle lifted off, racing to join the Indomitable. But the battle was far from over. As they ascended, Empire ships converged, the night sky a tapestry of conflict. "Their response was quicker than I expected," Kale noted, his hands steady on the controls. "We've struck at the heart of the beast," Alex said, his voice filled with both dread and determination. "Now, we just need to survive its wrath." The shuttle docked, the Indomitable jumping to hyperspace just as the Empire's forces unleashed their fury upon where they had been. The chapter of their tale closed with the knowledge that they had dealt a blow, but at the cost of revealing their position in this vast, dark war. Chapter 7: The Turning Tide. The Indomitable emerged from hyperspace, the void of space offering no solace, only a brief respite. Inside, the air was thick with anticipation and the acrid scent of battle clinging to their uniforms. Commander Alex Mercer, his face a mask of grim resolve, pored over the data chip Vara had sacrificed herself to deliver. It revealed the Empire's desperation, a final plan to deploy an annihilator directly against Earth, a strike meant to end all resistance. The crew knew the stakes had never been higher. Dr. Alara Vega, her eyes haunted by the specter of what they had unleashed and fought against, worked tirelessly, refining the virus that had shown its potential to disrupt the Empire's weapons. Lieutenant Kale, ever the strategist, plotted their course, a path that would lead them to the Lion's Den, the Empire's most fortified position, where the final Annihilator was being prepared for its grim mission. Their journey was a silent pact, words unnecessary amidst the shared understanding of what lay ahead. The galaxy's fate balanced on a razor's edge, and they, a small band of rebels, were its unlikely guardians. As they neared their target, a massive space station shadowed by the hulking form of the Annihilator, a sense of foreboding enveloped them. This was no mere weapon. It was a harbinger of doom, its presence a dark omen. The plan was desperate. Infiltrate the station, upload the virus, and escape before the Empire could react. But as they prepared, a betrayal struck from within. One of their own, a pilot swayed by the Empire's promises, turned, alerting the enemy to their presence. The revelation was a gut punch, the sting of betrayal sharp and disorienting. The Indomitable was ambushed, Empire ships emerging from the shadows of space, their weapons blazing a path of destruction. The battle was fierce, Alex steering the ship through evasive maneuvers, Kale directing their defenses with a cool head and a fiery heart. Alara, in the bowels of the ship, fought to maintain their systems, her brilliance a beacon in the chaos. They managed to dock under heavy fire, their mission now hanging by a thread. The team, battered but unbroken, disembarked into the heart of the enemy, their path fraught with danger. The station was a labyrinth, its corridors a testament to the Empire's might, but also its fear, for what need had they of such defenses if not to guard against the indomitable spirit of those they sought to oppress? The final confrontation was a maelstrom of violence and betrayal. As they reached the Annihilator's control core, they found their betrayer waiting, his eyes hollow with regret, but fixed in his conviction. The clash was inevitable, a storm of energy and fury, where loyalty and treachery danced in the shadows. With a heavy heart, Alex faced the traitor, their battle a silent testament to the cost of war, where brother turned against brother in the galaxy's darkest hour. The betrayal was a wound that would never fully heal, a scar upon the soul of their fellowship. Alara, seizing the moment, uploaded the virus, her actions swift and sure. The station shuddered, the Annihilator's systems beginning to fail, a cascade of errors that heralded its undoing. Their escape was a desperate flight, the station collapsing around them, the Empire's forces in disarray but deadly still. The Indomitable, scarred and limping, emerged from the inferno, its crew a reflection of their ship, wounded, weary, but unbroken. The battle had been won, the immediate threat neutralized, but the war was not over. The Empire's wrath would be terrible, their response swift, but in the heart of darkness, a light had been kindled, a hope that defiance could forge a path to peace. The Indomitable set its course for home, the silence among its crew a tribute to those lost, a vow to continue the fight. The turning tide had revealed the strength of their resolve, the depth of their sacrifice, and the unyielding spirit of those who would stand against the night. The Indomitable limped through the stars, its journey back to Earth a testament to the crew's resilience. The ship was a patchwork of repairs, its spirit unbroken but its body battered from the fierce battle at the Empire's heart. As they approached Earth, the silence was palpable, each heart on board beating in sync with the pulse of the planet below, now under the shadow of an impending doom. The Annihilator, though disrupted, was not the only weapon in the Empire's arsenal, and the cost of their victory had been high. Commander Alex Mercer stood on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the blue and green orb that was home. Beside him, Dr. Alara Vega monitored the incoming data, her face a mask of concentration. Lieutenant Kale, his wounds bandaged, coordinated with what remained of their fleet, preparing for the inevitable counterstrike. The tension broke with a sudden alert. "Incoming transmission, high priority," announced a crew member. It was from Earth Command, their voices urgent yet filled with a strange hope. We've intercepted Empire communications. It's chaotic. Their ranks are breaking. The Liberators have moved, striking at key points. There's a chance, Alex, we might end this today. The plan was audacious. With the Empire's forces scattered, the Coalition would launch a unified assault on the Empire's central command, aiming to capture or destroy it, thus decapitating the beast. But the key was timing. They needed to strike while the Empire was disoriented. The Indomitable joined the gathering fleet, a motley assembly of ships from across the galaxy, each representing a species with its own story of oppression under the Empire's heel. This was not just humanity's fight, it was a cosmic stand for freedom. As they neared the Empire's hub, a fortress planet shrouded in defenses, the suspense was like a noose tightening. The battle commenced with a ferocity that shook the stars. Ships danced in deadly ballet, lasers and missiles painting the void with light and destruction. Inside the Indomitable, Alex led a strike team, including Alara and Kale, to infiltrate the command center. Their shuttle, cloaked and swift, pierced through the chaos, aiming for a vulnerability in the planet's shield system they had discovered from Vara's data. The landing was rough, their shuttle crashing through defenses, skidding onto the surface. The team moved with urgency, navigating through the fortress's internal defenses. Every step was fraught with danger, every shadow a potential foe. They encountered resistance, but the Empire's soldiers were not the disciplined force they once were. The seeds of doubt and rebellion had taken root. Kale, with his strategic mind, led them through, his combat prowess felling enemies with precision. In the command center, the Emperor himself awaited, surrounded by his elite guard. The room was a blend of ancient and advanced, a throne room for a tyrant. The confrontation was inevitable, a clash of ideals as much as of swords. "We end this now," Alex declared, his voice resonating with the weight of all they had fought for. The battle was fierce, the Emperor a formidable opponent, his powers augmented by technology. But he was alone, his once loyal followers now fighting for their own survival or turning against him. Alara, seizing the moment, accessed the central systems, initiating a shutdown of all Empire weapons, including any remaining annihilators. Her fingers flew across the console, her mind a whirlwind of code and determination.